Ladies and gentlemen, I've identified a problem in World of Warships Legends that I would like to discuss with you today. This problem has nothing to do with broken game mechanics or bugs. Rather, it has to do with poor mission design. Yes, that's right. The Path of the Samurai is what I'm referring to here. Over the past couple of weeks, we had an update end and a new one begin. In the previous update, the Tier 8 Premium IJN battleship Iwami was the reward. So I saw a lot of Iwamis running around last week, and even a couple running around this week, all spamming high explosive. This, I can only assume, is for one of two reasons. Number one, people have no idea what they're doing in this ship, and for whatever reason, they can't make the AP work, so they've switched to the HE, and somehow they think this is a good idea. I want to give the player base more credit than that. Hopefully, if you're playing up at Tier 8 with this particular premium battleship, you understand that AP is what you want to be shooting most of the time. So why would you run around in your Iwami for an entire game spamming nothing but high explosive? Well, there is one explanation. In the missions tab of the game, under I think the personal missions, there's a chain called Path of the Samurai, which if you go up this chain, you acquire a number of samurai crates, which drop these cards, and if you collect all the cards, you get the grand reward of the Mikasa 23. Mimi Tier 2 Premium that is basically completely useless and ineffective. Nobody thinks it's a good ship, despite ironically talking about its greatness constantly. It's a meme, okay? It is not something that I get a lot of enjoyment out of playing. I'd rather play up at the higher tiers. I know that's crazy, but these ships up here are more capable and, of course, more prone to dying quickly, just like the battleship that pushed into the Charlie Cap on our team and is the first ship sunk. In any case, if you want to pursue the Mikasa 23, for some reason, you have to complete a mission chain that only allows you to start playing these missions with Tier 6 ships and above, and eventually the mission chain ends with a series of missions that only allow you to play Tier 8 and Legendary ships. Again, this is a Mimi Tier 2 Premium that, sits at really the lowest playable tier in this game, and for some reason, in order to acquire it, you have to have a fleet of IJN ships at the highest tier in the game. So this mission chain, it's not as terrible in the beginning, right? The first 3 steps require Tier 6 and Tier 7 IJN ships, and the very first mission says get 2,500 global XP. Fine, do that with your Tier 6 and 7 IJN ships. Next mission, earn 10,000 XP before bonuses. Okay, fine. You can use any IJN ship at Tier 6 or Tier 7. Then you've got earn 25,000 XP with Tier 6 and 7 IJN ships. That's all fine, okay? That might be a little grindy. I think the tiers are a little bit too high. I don't know why you have to play Tier 6 and Tier 7 in order to pursue a Tier 2 Premium. But then we go to the second half of the mission chain, where things get a little bit more ridiculous. The key mission here is Step 4. This thing is the poor mission design that I'm referring to, okay? In order to complete this step, you have to get 150,000 incapacitation, destroyed, set on fire, or caused flooding ribbons. So you have 4 choices in ribbons to get, but the problem is you can only get them in Tier 8 and Legendary tier ships. And that's an issue for a lot of players in this game, because I suspect for them, a lot of them may not have any legendary IJN ships aside from the Yamato, and a lot of them might not have any Tier 8 IJN ships apart from this one. So they look at this mission, they see, okay, I've got to get 150 incapacitation, destroyed, set on fire, or caused flooding ribbons. And note, we've been playing the Iwami for about 6 minutes now. We have got 1 destroyed ribbon, we've got 1 caused flooding ribbon, and 1 incapacitation ribbon. So that's 3 ribbons out of 150. There is a way where we could acquire more of them more efficiently. We could switch to high explosive, and then we could just spam HE for the entirety of the game to see how many fires we set. We might get 5, 6, maybe 7, maybe even 10. I don't know. I've never spammed HE in the Iwami for an entire game to test it out. But by the way, there's another destroyed ribbon, so that's what, 4 ribbons for this mission so far in this game if we were playing it. Honestly, I haven't played IJN ships enough to get all the way up to step 4 in this mission chain, because I don't think you could pay me money to care about the Mikasa 23. I really do not care about getting a premium tier 2 ship in my port, no matter how fancy the camo may look. I want to play ships at higher tiers. It's just not me. If you want to pursue the Mikasa 23, fine. You know, I'm not complaining about that. I'm not trying to put you down for pursuing a ridiculous, you know, tier 2 premium ship to F around with, okay? What I am complaining about is this mission design. Surely there is a better way for wargaming to create a mission chain that allows you to acquire a special product like this tier 2 premium cruiser, or I guess it's a battleship, but in-game it's a cruiser. There has certainly got to be a better way than saying get 150 incapacitation, destroyed, set on fire, or caused flooding ribbons. In fact, I would say in order to improve this mission, just remove the set on fire ribbon requirement. Take it out completely. Replace it maybe with get citadels. Because see, we've got 5 citadels in this game using our AP. And the reason I say that is because there are a limited number of IJN ships at tier 8. Let's count how many there would be. There would be the Yugamo, the Kitakaze, the Ibuki B, the Izumo, and then we'd have the Yamato, the Yoshino, the Shimakaze. Did I say the Iwami? Of course, the Iwami. So there's a number of ships there. There's less than 10 of them, right? And all of them are at high tiers. All of them are very difficult to get. They are not easily accessible. The Iwami you had to get by grinding out a campaign. Of course, all the legendary tier ships you had to get by waiting out a bureau project that could take at least 3 months to complete. Aside from the Yoshino, which was a special ship available only for a limited time, so a small number of people have that thing. And then you've got the tier 8s, which in order to get one of those, you have to grind out 300,000 XP in your tier 7 ship, and then you've got to pay 25 million credits in order to buy the tier 8 ship, and that's before you even grind out the upgrades on that thing and spend the money to put on the modifications and, you know, buy all the upgrades. In other words, it's prohibitively expensive to get a lot of these higher tier IJN ships in terms of both spending your time and spending your in-game resources. It's even expensive for me, and keep in mind, I've been playing this game nonstop for like 4 years. I'm a community contributor. I get a lot of benefits for that for free from wargaming, but usually in-game currency is not one of those things, and I don't even have every single tier 8 ship in my port. There's practically no way I could do that anytime soon. It's just too cost prohibitive to get them. So what you have here is a mission chain where not only, because it requires you to do the highest tier ships in the game, legendary tier and tier 8, you have a limited number of ships to choose from, and they're all confined to one specific nation, the Japanese one. But then, to top it all off, you incentivize getting fire ribbons, which, if you just switch to HE, these are obviously the most efficient ribbons to farm, but the problem is when your only high-tier ships are the Iwami and the Yamato, you incentivize those players to go around spamming HE and throwing games for their team because they've got broadside battleships like this GK in front of them, and they're firing HE at them and not sinking them. Instead, they're just doing some HE damage and lighting fires. That's great, I guess, if you're trying to get 150 ribbons, but it is terrible for the standard of gameplay. It makes things worse. It incentivizes people to play poorly and not play for the win. And, well, you know, I don't know if us losing this game had anything to do with ships spamming HE. I don't think so. I think my teammates just, you know, kind of died, but you get my point. I don't like this mission design, so please, Wargaming, consider future missions and what their requirements will mean for the actual gameplay, because this one ain't great. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.